Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about yoga philosophy. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the yamas and the niyamas, but specifically we're going to talk about the first yama called Ahimsa. So you probably have no idea what that means. So let's go figure out what that means together. All right, so what in the world is yamas and niyamas, and specifically Ahimsa? So let's talk about that. So the yamas and the niyamas translate into the yamas are restraints and the niyamas are observances. So we will go into more detail about the rest of the yamas and the niyamas in future videos. So each of the yamas and the niyamas have about 5 different principles behind them. And so when we're thinking about yoga philosophy, this is where some people get a little bit bent out of shape about any tie-in with religion. And so I want to be really specific here that these are just philosophies on kind of how to live a better life. These aren't religious in any means, and a good way to think about them is a lot of these types of thoughts are things that you would actually hear in like self-improvement videos or in ways to just live a better life. And so, how they're sort of thought about is, by practicing these different principles, you'll experience less suffering in your human experience. And again, that kind of sounds maybe a little loaded, but really what these are meant to do is to just help you so that you feel better in your own experience, in your relationship with yourself, your relationship with others, and just how you perceive the world. So let's talk a little bit about the yamas. So the yamas again are restraints, and we're going to talk specifically today about Ahimsa. So Ahimsa is one of my favorite yamas. This is something that really resonates deeply with me. And now I'll be honest, when I first started my yoga journey, the yamas and the niyamas didn't really resonate well with me, at least maybe the first time I had heard about them and the first bit of studying I had done around them. But as I have come to grow into a yoga teacher and diving a little bit more into yoga philosophy and learning more about these, I'm finding that they really resonate, and so I'm hoping to sort of share this knowledge with you in a way that made sense to me. So Ahimsa specifically is all about nonviolence and non-harming. So it's easy to kind of think, this is where yoga and veganism or, yoga and, like non-harming the animals and fighting and more like in a physical sense. So this is where, you kind of hear that and you feel maybe like that is what it's about. But honestly, it goes a little bit deeper than that. It's more about a practice of kindness and compassion. And it's a practice of kindness and compassion, not just for other people and people around us, but actually more specifically around yourself. So this would be things like just being gracious towards yourself in your daily struggles, or just the basic act of being kind, whether that's to yourself or to others. And it's really embracing how we feel with humanity and compassion. So here are some examples of where you may demonstrate Ahimsa. So for example, maybe recently I've been having some wrist issues and some knee issues. And so often when you go through injuries or things like that, some people just try to keep pushing through. You pretend you don't even have the injury. And that's not practicing Ahimsa. Ahimsa is about listening to your body. It's about meeting yourself where you are, recognizing that maybe you can't do what you used to do because of this wrist injury, because maybe you've taken some time off from being physically active or anything like that. And so it's really meeting yourself where you are today and practicing for that. So in yoga specifically, but I think this can be related to anything sort of in fitness and things like that. But normally, what you could do yesterday, sometimes you can't do today. Maybe you're tired, maybe you're emotionally drained, maybe your body's tired. There's so many different things that could be going on that just, maybe you don't feel as strong as yesterday. And so part of that is meeting yourself where you are today and trying to be okay with who that person is today. So, even on a fitness level, maybe you went and you did a 20K run yesterday, but maybe 20K is not a good option for today. So maybe today 2K is actually a better option. So it's really, again, meeting yourself where you are today. Other ways that you can practice ahimsa would be, maybe you reacted really poorly towards a situation and you're just beating yourself up, like I shouldn't have done that, I shouldn't have said that, and you're just going through this vicious circle of what you could have done or should have done. And, that's not helpful because you can't change what happened in the past, but you can change how you react in the future, and you can change what you're doing about that. So it's about meeting yourself with kindness and recognizing that you're not perfect and you're going to have reactions that you can't help sometimes. And maybe that means you apologize to somebody that you had that reaction to, and you be vulnerable and open with them about how that situation made you feel. Or maybe, it was embarrassment. Maybe you got embarrassed about something that you shouldn't have. And again, it's just about recognizing, hey, you know what, I was embarrassed, but maybe I shouldn't have been embarrassed about that, for, X, Y, Z reason. So it's just sort of taking that extra layer of saying, you know what, I'm going to choose to be kind and compassionate for myself today, and just meet myself where I am, whether that's emotionally, whether that's physically, whether that's spiritually, whether that's intellectually, or anything else. And the thought around that is that by kind of having that compassion for yourself and meeting yourself with compassion will mean that you'll also have that compassion and kindness for others too. Because often how we treat ourselves is how we also treat other people. So if we're holding ourselves to a really high standard, then chances are we're holding others to a very high standard as well. And so it's just about how that flows into everything else that you do in life, and you act with kindness first. So again, the yamas are all about sort of controlling or having a restraint or trying to stop or seize certain actions so that you can be good to others and the environment. So the next one we're going to be talking about is satya, which is the concept of truth. So if you're interested in that, then stay tuned for the next video. I hope you enjoyed this bit of yoga philosophy, and I hope that you're able to practice maybe a little more ahimsa in your life. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, give me a like. Let me know in the comments how you practice ahimsa, if you think that this is a good concept, if this is something that you want to implement or do implement in your life, how do you do it? And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. And stay tuned if there should be a video somewhere on the screen in case you want to do a practice. And maybe in that practice you can bring into it ahimsa and the act of being kind and compassionate with yourself. So again, thanks so much for joining me today, and see you next time. Bye everyone.